Hello everyone, I'm Havoc, and this is Factorio Space Exploration Plus. For today's episode, we are going to go back to, what is it called? Borum? I'm going to call it Borum. We're going to go back to Borum and try and get back to what we were doing there. We were setting stuff up when we realized Novice was getting overrun and things were going terribly, horribly, awful wrong. And let's see, might be a good idea before I leave to think about what we need to bring. Let's take a quick peek at the surface. View surface. We have, I think that rocket is ready to go once I plop the storage in. And do we have a way to make fuel, rocket fuel? Yes, we have rocket fuel. Okay. Just primarily I'm worried about not having the fuel to get back here because I know we're missing a few modules. That's no problem. What I know here is that I need to exit out of that. There we go. And that will bring me back here to what I'm looking for. I need to load up, once this is finished and we have everything that we need. So this is using the pipes that it's bringing here. What's going on with that? Because that's one of the issues with having this as a buffer chest. And also my bots are quite busy finishing up down here. I went ahead and put the concrete that goes underneath it so we can have our tiles down and make it look pretty. Now, this is the blueprint that it came with. And these tanks with steam actually hang out over the blueprint, which is a little bit weird. It feels like, you know, the either side, left and right, encompasses the steam tanks. Why does the top and bottom not encompass the steam tanks? I might come back in and hand place a little bit right around each of those in order to make it the way I would like it. I mean, maybe the person that did the blueprint likes it that way, and good for them, you know, but I want to have everything on top of a tile. Also, I'm not fully certain what this is. I think that maybe is this steam is full or water is full. I'm not sure exactly. I haven't looked at the circuitry to see what is what right here. Now, the reason it's not running is definitely because our steam is full everywhere. This thing produces a massive amount of steam, quick, fast, and in a hurry, and we don't need all that power. So because it's smart, it doesn't run, and because it doesn't run, we have plenty of stored power ready to rock and roll. What's really nice about this is if the solar panels and accumulators run out of power and aren't supplying enough, this thing kicks on and produces a ton of power for us, which is exactly what I want. Now, before we leave and go to the next planet, I want to make sure that we have what we need to put down a nuclear facility there. And it looks like we're really lacking on pipes, and we're having issues with the arithmetic combinator. Now, I don't know if I even have the arithmetic combinator being made by the robots, or if I just made a handful and had thrown them into a logistics storage chest somewhere. So I'm going to take a quick run over here to where we do all these things and look for the arithmetic combinator real fast. Let's see, I don't see it, which makes me believe that maybe I'm not building it. Of course, I am doing some of them right over here. Oh, this jetpack is so slow. I'm already wearing the thruster suit to go to the planet, and it's slow. So here is the one. That's not the right one. That's not the arithmetic combinator. So I'm probably not making them, and let's go ahead and just plop down this one and come over here. We're going to do the decider combinator and the arithmetic, because the constant combinator I'm already making, And let's just, for simplicity's sake, do it this way. They probably have the same ingredients. Yes. But I didn't want to just make an assumption. And we'll let it hold one stack. And that should take care of the issues with the combination. Now let's look at pipe. Why is pipe an issue? Pipe should not be an issue. Oh, it's so slow. Okay. It's just not going to work for me. We are going to have to get back into our fast suit. So this thing is working really fast. Let's make it even faster. I could even drop a beacon down over here, but I don't know if that's even necessary. I don't know if we'll be able to feed it if I put a beacon down. I don't know if I'll be able to put iron into this thing fast enough. Let's see. Oh, that's the wrong module group. And power that thing. Should probably be yeah. No, it's keeping up. Okay, I like it. Well, pipe should no longer be an issue, really. And let's get rid of these. I don't need tier 1 speed modules in my inventory. So that's going to work much better. That's good. It seems like we were consuming pipe as quickly as I was making it. Is it for this? Yes, it's for this. So that's why I could not keep up and stockpile any here. Now we're starting to get a little bit on the way, which honestly, I'm making pipe right over here too, right? And this isn't doing anything but sitting still. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. No, give me that back. Oh. I'm just making a mess everywhere. That's what happens when you hold things that you don't mean to. I don't want this thing to be just slap full of pipe, though. Okay. And that will just make sure that I'm producing more pipe than I'm consuming, and this should go up much faster. And when we go, I want to take this entire inventory, just slap it over into the cargo rocket, and we also need to bring more cargo rocket sections. Let's just bring as many as we could fit in there. That means we ought to build a few rockets to come back out of that, at least 2. And then we're going to, let's see, we also will need fuel. I don't think that'll be a problem. As I showed in last episode, I have a significant processing facility for our uranium. Oh, we're actually backing up. Really? Okay. That's awesome. So we have a lot. We have over 200,000, 204,000 sitting in the warehouse, plus what's on the belt. So we've got some enriched uranium, and we also have the ability to produce a whole lot more very easily. And like I explained last time, this prioritizes itself, refueling itself before sending anything out. So I don't have to worry about consuming the last bit of my enriched uranium ever again and going, oh no, what have I done? That's not a problem. So we're almost there with the pipes and almost there with the turbines. That's very, very good. I'm going to need to drop my inventory down into a warehouse. And also, let's always remember to turn your personal logistics off before you dump your inventory, because then they'll be trying to bring everything you had back to you constantly. And it gets a bit aggravating. So we'll move that over. And what else should we bring to our planet? What else do we need here? So we're going to be processing this up here. Once we have power really taken care of, and again, there's no threat here, this planet. So we go back to here. 0% threat, so I don't have to bring defenses or worry about building walls or turrets or anything like that. I'm not going to get attacked there. There are 0 biters on that planet, thankfully. And so I can just put down our nuclear power anywhere I want. Cliff explosives. Cliff explosives and the termite nanobots will definitely be something that I'm going to want. So let me go grab those before I forget again. And I know I have a few stacks in my inventory of the nanobots, the termite nanobots. We're going to bring just a few more. There are a lot of trees there that need to be removed. And then cliff explosives. I could just request them, but I'm going to grab what's here. And we're just going to throw all of that into the rocket. Super simple. Good to go. How are we doing here? We're finished. Okay. We're going to take every bit of that and throw it into here. And that right there sets up a nuclear facility for us on our new planet. And we're bringing lots and lots of fuel. It'll be more than enough for that planet for quite some time. I can turn this back on now that I have my correct inventory. And we're going to put our thruster suit on because we're going to go ahead and head there. So let's see, hold on. We're making fuel there. That'll make us a rocket back. I'm currently carrying a space capsule, plus there's one in this rocket itself. So let's go to our new planet and see about actually setting up processing of the resources, the Holmonite that we were going there for last time. I quite enjoy that. They did a very good job with the sequences. So that's going to offload everything immediately into our passive provider chest, which is perfect. Question is, how many robots do I have here? Got a couple thousand of each. Okay, so that's good. We will have what we need in order to put down our nuclear reactor. Now, it's really big. It's really big, and of course, the moment we leave, it's going to start beeping at us. Let's see here. So this is the concrete that goes under it. That gives you a good idea of the size. Is this the right one? Nope. Keep going. This monster. This is the size that we need. So let's clear... Oh yes, also, we are not in space. We are on another planet, and we can swap out to our good armor. And we can clear trees. The robots, we can tell them, hey, grab those cliff explosives. Get rid of these cliffs up here. And make room for what's going to essentially be powering you robots. It's our grand and glorious nuclear facility. Robots with explosives just sounds a little dangerous to me. Just a little bit, though. Okay. I want to try and make sure that I'm getting just the rocks and cliffs with the bots, and I can take the trees out. But this should be enough room after I clear this little corner right here. Let's see. Are we going to be able to fit it in this blueprint? Once they take those cliffs out, for sure we will. And... or I can just slide it over a little bit. It doesn't have to be so far away. I just want to make sure I'm not impeding on any of the Holmonite. There's Holmonite right down here in the bottom left. There. And same thing we did with the other one. We have to swap out, because I don't have any of the Mark 1 roboports. I need to place down the robo ports that I do have. Everything else can be built by the robots, and everything should be in the chest because we brought all of these ingredients with us on the rocket. Now, the question is also, did I set this up to request? I sure did. So what we're getting here are all of these pieces. Now I want to revise this little setup. So we're going to cut and paste this just a little bit further out. And the reason for that is I want to buffer these pieces. I want a little bit just sitting here so it can move quickly, because there's only a handful that sit on the lines. 4 items per belt, which means if you have 5 belts, you only have 20 items sitting there. Now this is 10, 20, 30, 48 plus, you know, what's on the belt. It'll be much faster. The only thing I've got to figure out here is I will have to maybe request. No, that would be a bad idea. I'm just going to think I need to get the cargo rocket sections that it's putting into storage back onto this line, and probably the best way to do that is simply to come out here and say, hey, I want you to always be requesting these cargo rocket sections and putting them onto this line. And our poor little robots are busy making our glorious nuclear reactor up there. So they're not building this. That's okay. We'll help them out just a little bit there. And if I throw the space capsule in, perfect. So our rocket is ready to return to Novice when we are here, which makes me a little less nervous. Again, I'm really new to this traveling to different planets in Factorio here, so this can sometimes be nerve-wracking. Oh, we are completely out of something. What is this? Heavy oil? I mean, I guess that's fine. I think that's fine. I probably should have done a little logic here to balance it so I didn't end up with all petroleum gas, because in order to make the solid rocket fuel you also need light oil, and I don't have a lot of it. I did set up a little bit, which should have done more than that, probably 20,000. That's okay, we'll come up with a solution for this. In fact, I think the real temporary solution is probably going to be do like so, and that will balance these two out. Okay, and this should run out here in just a sec. Well, it's not going to run out because we're breaking every ounce of our heavy oil immediately into light oil. Which, it might be a better idea to have that flow back into here rather than immediately turn it into petroleum. Yeah, so let's look at this. Let's fix this real fast before we move on. So all of our heavy oil comes here, and we need to feed that back in to this tank. Rather than immediately turn it down into petroleum gas, we need to let it flow into our light oil, because we need light oil. Like I said, this recipe takes the solid fuel and some more light oil in order to make solid rocket fuel. So petroleum gas makes our solid fuel, and then that's added to this light oil. There we go. We're looking much better. That'll balance this out a little bit better. It's not a permanent fix for it, but it's better than it was, and making constant improvements is all that I can ask for. I am not a perfectionist. I like things to be nice, but they don't have to be perfect. Okay, so we're waiting on a few more parts. Shouldn't be missing what we need for this. Hold on. We should have had it. Oh, I think we lost some of our resources. So that there's a chance that happens. And I didn't think about that. All I did was jump over here and bring exactly what I needed. And it does seem to be a problem. We have lost some resources. So it says 80 entities are missing the materials for construction. So I have a problem where I lost some stuff. And that's okay. We can go back and bring another rocket here with a whole nother slew of the things we need. But before we do that, I really want, I mean, it's starting, it's getting somewhere. And I really want to get this operating like we were trying to before they started destroying everything. So let's look at this. And what are we doing again? We're going to get stone and we're going to get crushed Holmonite out of this. And we can take both of those resources out, no problem. And sort it afterwards. Right, so if I come down here, I can just say take what's in there out. And I think this will look a little bit better if I line it up with the inserters that are right down here on the inside of the build. So that's what we'll do. And if we expand this out, how's this going to look? If we could tile it. Well, no, you can't tile it, but we could put another one down beside it, but I don't think we're going to need to. This will probably be good enough. So we're just going to bring this out a little bit in case I do decide to do that eventually. We're going to combine them, and then I'm going to immediately say we're going to filter out every ounce of stone that comes through here. Right here. It's going to come out in this direction. And we're going to immediately turn all of this stone into landfill with probably 2 assemblers. And we're going to just put this into a passive provider warehouse. Actually works out really nice. The 6, 6, and 6 tiles. You're going to make landfill. And the biters are going to cause problems constantly. So we need to power this. I don't know if we can get it all with one substation. Not quite. That's okay. There we go. Oh, hold on. We got to do some logic here. That's right. So we don't want this running all the time because it will fill this up and we need to take water out from the output. So this can't be ever full of water. Now, it will slowly degrade because it takes 6 water and only gives you back 5, which means you're going to get water loss with this cycle over time. So I do need water coming into it every now and then, but what I need this to do, we're going to take it and say, I want you to read the contents of this and only fill it up if water, which will be under fluids, gets below 5,000. So this thing, as soon as it drops below 5,000 water, it will begin filling up from our supply line here and keep it processing. Now we've got a lot coming out here. We need to figure out what we're going to do with, what is this, the crushed Holmonite or washed Holmonite? Because we crush it and then we wash it. The next step Excuse me. Is to take that, combine it with cation ion exchange beads. I don't know how you call that. I would call it, I don't know, cation? I'm not sure. But ion exchange beads. We'll just say that. And I don't have any of those here yet. So we're going to need to figure out how to get that here or how to make that here. What does this require? Plastic, vulcanite blocks, sulfuric acid, and steam. So I don't have easy access to those items here. So we're definitely going to be bringing that in unless we started mining. So that's a longer project. Let's go ahead and stop there. Well, what we're going to do is bring that in probably from Novice, where we have all of those items on Novice. We still have a lot of vulcanite block, even though we're not continuously producing it. One vulcanite block will produce 10 of these ion exchange beads. And what are we going to need? One ion exchange bead processes, but it has a 50% chance for you to get it back. So you say a half. Uses a half per cycle. This one is also a water loss cycle to make the holmium powder. And it's a 50% chance to get the powder, 50% chance to get the Holmonite, washed Holmonite back, and some sand. So we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do with the sand. We might end up with a really, really large warehouse of sand somewhere. And then we probably need to take it from here. But what we're going to do right now is set up what this will look like when we can bring the beads in. So we're going to need another setup like this. However, we're going to need a little more room, so we've got to space this out a little bit. What I'm going to do is say, well, and actually there's a lot of outputs for that process too. There's a lot of different possibilities. So we may need to completely rethink how we do this. Definitely. So let's grab chemical plants. Do I have any on me? Do I not have any on me? Am I just blind? It's possible. Hold on. If I come here and hover, there they are. If you hover something in your inventory, it will blink what it is. It'll blink where it's at in your inventory over here if you hover in your crafting grid. In case anyone did not know that, it's quite useful. So we're going to say this right here. This is what we need. We only need one washed Holmonite. We need some water. We need the ion beads. So what I'm thinking here is that our ion beads and our washed Holmonite will go here. And then we're going to use an inserter and a long-handed inserter, a fast inserter and a long-handed inserter to reach over and get to our resources that are coming in. Now, in fact, I think I need to slide this down a little bit because we're going to have to recycle, because there is a chance that you get holmium powder back from this and the ion beads back from this. So I want those to recycle back into the line and have priority coming back in, and I need to leave room to do that. So let's go ahead and just change that recipe over and move this stuff down. I've got a whole new planet to work with here. I don't need to be cramming stuff right next to each other. So we're going to need water here and then water output here. And we're going to probably do this something along the lines of that to get it out of the way. And then this is going to be right in the way. This power pole. Just move that. Where are my tanks? I don't have to use a really big tank. Actually, we can just use a smaller tank. There's no need for the big one for this process. So if I look, we're going to have water coming out here. This will always be running. We'll be doing the same thing where we will pipe water in here, but this one will only function when the water drops below a certain amount. And these tanks hold, how much is it? It's 25,000, right? 25,000. So we're going to, again, we're going to say 5,000 when water drops below 5,000. And then we're going to drop a little bit of, not that much water fill. A little bit of water fill about right here. Okay, starting to think I didn't have any offshore pumps. But there we go. So that gives us 5,000 water ready to go. And then we need to pump. So we can change this around just a little bit, because I want the water to be pulled out of here constantly and to go into here and the other sides as well. So we can probably do the same thing we did up there and get away with putting it down like so, mirroring the outputs. And then we're going to figure out what we're doing with pulling out of this thing. This is going to be the monster task of all of this. So the water will come out and immediately go into here. Then I have 4 other different ingredients to come out of here. And it's a 1 second craft time, so this is going to be very frequent. And we could just super simply tell it, hey, throw everything, whatever you're getting out of it, just throw it on a belt, and then we can filter out from here. But I don't know if I like that. That's probably what we're going to do temporarily. We're going to be getting sand. And actually, what I recycle is what I want to pull out first. So we're going to say filter out our washed Holmonite, and it's going to go to the right. Where'd it go? Oh. I clicked center. And we're going to just plug that right back in and make sure that this has an import priority from the right. So it will prioritize bringing what we get over here first and sending that through. And then we need to do the same thing for the beads. So that'll be the next item that we filter out to the right. And then we gotta figure out how we're gonna do this exactly. Probably underground somewhere. This is gonna be a mess. I will definitely improve on this process later. So it's not a disaster. However, I do want to make sure that I get it running as soon as possible. And that'll be where the beads come in. And then this will be, I don't need a filter. What I need is input priority left. Okay. So now make sure that I have water over here. And obviously I can't continue to expand down this way because this is where our oil is, but I can move all this probably over here and make room when I figure out exactly what I want to do with it. And now we've got to deal with the sand, which is an actual intended product. There's only 25% chance of that, so it's not awful. And then what we want out of this is our holmium powder. That's what we're really going for here at the end of the day. Let's go ahead and filter sand out to the right. And this one is just going to go and fill up some warehouses. Probably do just the regular, very large warehouses. That's what, 76,000 a piece. Or wait, sand stacks to 200? That's a lot. That will hold an awful lot of our sand and keep this running for us. And then the final product that will be coming down after everything else is filtered out is our holmium powder. And we want to take that and just immediately start smelting it into the ingots. Because the ingots is what I want to leave the planet here. Right? So it says 10 powder makes 1 ingot. So that will super condense the stacks down. So that's exactly what I want to do. And we're going to go to the left over here for our smelting of this. And we're going to say you're going to make holmium ingots. That takes, oh wow, it takes 40 seconds. Okay, and that's going to get super slow when I throw those in there. I had not looked at that yet. That's a bit crazy. I would like to get that operating before we end this episode. It's getting a bit long, I know, but what I'm going to do is get this functioning, or it won't function because I don't have the ion beads, but I want to get this set up and figured out real fast before we end the episode. So the only thing I've got to do is get the ion beads flowing over here. And so we're going to put some of these down. This is going to take an incredibly long time, so we're definitely going to be putting beacons down in here. And then how are we going to power this? That should be fine right there. So do a little something like that. Throw all of our modules in. And then we need to connect the power up and change the recipe. Good. Output lines. Whoop, going crazy over here. There we go. Now we got output lines, and we are going to have to expand this a lot. Actually, I don't know how much. We're going to hold off on that because I don't know how quickly these are going to process and how much powder will be coming out of this. So we'll just leave it at that for now, and then we can see what we get out of this. And I'm going to store this in a passive provider warehouse on purpose. That way my bots can have access to it. As soon as we give things power. Okay, so now all we've got to do is go back to Novice, set up creating the ion beads, and deliver some of them here. And we'll start getting some processing underway. I can see how things work. I work better seeing things visually and watching things go. And so after we get that done, I'll probably do a little improvement here to the setup. But if you enjoyed today's episode, feel free to hit that like button, and if you want to see more content like this, consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you all next time.